Hey guys, welcome back to Confessions with Cassidy. I, of course, am Cassidy, and I'm so happy that you are back here this week. This video is something true to my heart because my Capricorn rising comes out and it is all about organization. How to be organized when you are not naturally organized. This is something I definitely had to learn, and as I've gotten older, organization is like one of the top things that is the most important to me. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I have my life in order. I just thought I would share some tips and tricks that work for me in order to help me stay organized and keep my life in some semblance of order. Before we dive in, make sure to like and subscribe, and if you're feeling extra lovely, hit that bell so you never miss one of my videos. So, my first point, without question, is lists. The minute I started writing down my day in a list form, my life changed. And when it comes to the list, do not spare any detail. It can be something as small as brush my teeth and make my coffee. Just everything that you're going to be doing that day, write it down. And there can be 50 things on that list. But then it feels so unbelievably good when you start, ticking some of these off. And suddenly your morning routine is done and you only have 40 things left on your list. Then you get a couple things done, you have your lunch, and then you have 30 things left on the list. And it doesn't always have to be 50 things on a list. If you're having a really slow day, write down everything you need to get done, and then you can visually see it. And I tell you, it feels so satisfying when you have a list and you've completed one of the tasks on that list and you can erase it. It's just like that sense of accomplishment. And it's something so small or maybe something bigger, but as soon as you're writing everything down, there's just that kind of immediate structure that you can visually see your day. And this doesn't just have to be a daily practice. It can also be a monthly practice or more goal-oriented. I have a list of things that I want to achieve in my life, and I have a list of all my goals, and when I achieve them, I can knock them off. And I have been able to knock quite a few off, and I think it also ties into a little bit of manifestation. But it's exactly that. You're kind of manifesting that life and that organized experience by writing things down and being honest with yourself. Because if you didn't get it done, you can't erase it. And then when you go to bed at night, that task is still there. And then it's tomorrow's issue when with organization, and when you see it, you can just get that done on that day. My second point would be routine and schedules. This is just, I think, fundamental to having organization in your life. And again, it's easier said than done, but having a daily routine changes everything. And it doesn't have to be specific. Like, every single day I wake up at 9 a.m., I work out at 10 a.m., I have lunch at 11 a.m., I go to bed at 8:30. It doesn't have to be like that. I would set yourself a daily schedule and daily routine within a 30-minute time frame. So if you say you're going to go to bed at 10 p.m., then you should be going to bed between 9:30 and 10:30. And if you're going to wake up at 7, you should wake up at 6:30 to 7:30. Then, if you were up a little bit later watching Netflix, then you can go to bed a little bit later, and then you can wake up a little bit later. But it's not anything where suddenly you have a 4-hour sleep in and you don't have enough time to get your things done. Also, having a routine, even something for me, like I got really into skincare, and having that morning routine of doing all my steps and knowing that my day has started, and also my nighttime routine of doing my steps, and suddenly I look like a glazed donut after I do my nighttime routine. It just puts me into this energy that it's bedtime and it's time to go to sleep, rather than watching TV, brushing your teeth, and going to bed. It's like this whole kind of self-care moment that keeps me extremely organized because I look forward to doing it. And it makes me excited to go to bed. By implementing like a routine and schedule into your life, it gives you the ability to give structure to your life. Instead of just every single day never really knowing what to expect. That's okay every once in a while. Like going on holiday, maybe your weekends are just completely for that. Like you just don't want to have any worries or scheduling, you just want to enjoy. I love that. But having at least some form of scheduling and routine just puts your life in order and gives you the ability to stay more organized because you're getting enough sleep and you have to rely on yourself in order to get your routine done. My third point would be prioritize. This kind of relates back to that first point about making lists by prioritizing your list. I always do my lists in 2 ways. If it's a daily list, I'll do it from the first thing I'm going to do when I wake up to the last thing I'm going to do before I go to bed. Or if it's a priority list, maybe for the week, then I know what I need to get done first and what can come a little bit later. And something that really helps me is, for example, if I have a paper for school due on Friday night at 7:30 p.m., I will ask my friend to go for dinner at 7 on Friday. That way, I have absolutely no chance to be sitting at my computer at 6:45 finishing my paper. That will be done in the morning so that I can then meet my friend for dinner. It sets an expectation for me to get my work done in order to then have the pleasure later. And this technique, it just de-stresses your life. I think we've all been there where there's 10 minutes until a paper is due or a deadline is coming up, and you're trying to proofread it and you're putting it in, and the amount of stress and anxiety that riddles your bones is out of this world, and it's so preventable. And by scheduling your life that somebody else has an expectation from you, like going out for dinner, it makes you have to get your work done so that you don't disappoint somebody else. And also, it's never going to be your best work if you're last minute. I know some people always say they thrive on like last minute work, and I get that to an extent. When I was in school, I always did fine. Always was passing. Nothing was an issue. And I would always do it last minute. My dad used to call me the winger because I winged everything. It was just last minute, and a lot of the times it worked out for me okay. Now that I like organization and scheduling my life a bit, I think back to my time in school and I'm just kind of like, oh, Cassidy, like what you could have achieved if you had just sat down and really put the time in and the effort in, instead of being stressed in the last minute and putting in mediocre work rather than actually thoughtful work. Now, the last point is something that is very, very important. And like I said, organization does not come easy to everybody. It has to be a learned trait a lot of the time. And that is why it is always okay to ask for help. You can't expect yourself to suddenly become the most organized Marie Kondo individual in the world. It's not going to happen. It takes a lot of discipline and dedication in order to get your life organized. And it can be so unbelievably overwhelming, especially if you have an unorganized house, for example, and you look around and you just don't even know where to start. And instead of just starting somewhere, you just choose not to because you get too overwhelmed. That used to happen to me all the time. And then it just would get to the point where I was like, I have to clean my room or I'm going to go insane. But then it took 2 days. By asking for help, even if it's just calling a friend and being like, hey, I need to go to Goodwill. Would you mind coming over and helping me go through some of my clothes for what I should keep and what I should donate? You're getting help from somebody else. 1, to keep you on track, and 2, you can make it fun. With trying on clothes, you get to see something that you wore with your friend on a night out and you're like, oh my god, you can't get rid of that. Like, you wore that when we were here, blah, 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 blah. And it can become a really fun activity. Alternatively, maybe it isn't about your house and it's just about your internal life clock and your organization of yourself. And it is amazing to be able to ask somebody just for a little bit of help. Even if it's, okay, I have to get this and this done, and I do not have enough time because I didn't give myself enough time to get this and this done. And being able to ask for help of somebody that you trust and you care about, to be like, hey, I really need help with this task. Would you mind helping me out with it? Or would you mind proofreading my paper? Even for me, I am a very organized person, but I thrive when I'm doing my work sat beside somebody else. Even if it's just that I'm planning one of my videos and I can ping pong some ideas off of my friend Noah and he can be like, oh, that's a great point, and I can really verbalize my thoughts. That is a saving grace for me. It helps me remain organized and it makes me know, okay, I'm on the right track with what I'm doing and I'm not just in my own world. So I ask for help, and you should 100% ask for help when you need it. These are my top 4 tips to organize your life, and I really hope they help. It's always just about starting, and maybe start today with your first list. Let me know in the comments any other helpful hints you might have. I 100% am always open for new tips and tricks about being organized. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and subscribe, hit that bell, and I will see you next week. Mwah.